My name is Emily. I am 34 years old. I live with my husband, Robert. He is 36. We have been married for 10 years. Our life is simple. Robert works in an office, and I work in a small shop. We share breakfast every morning, then he leaves for work with a smile. In the evening, we eat dinner together, talk about our day, and sometimes watch old movies. On weekends, we walk in the park or visit his parents. People always tell us we are lucky. They say Robert is a good husband, and I am a happy wife. I believed that too. I believed there were no secrets between us. I believed I knew everything about him, his favorite food, his habits, his childhood stories. Sometimes at night, he would hold my hand and say, "No secrets, Emily. Always honesty." I smiled and believed him. For 10 years, our marriage looked perfect from the outside. And for 10 years, I thought I was living in truth. But one evening, while cleaning, I found something. A hidden letter. A forgotten letter. And that letter changed everything I thought I knew about my husband. It happened on a quiet Sunday evening. Robert was watching the news in the living room, and I decided to clean our old bookshelf. Dust covered the shelves. Some books hadn't been touched for years. As I pulled out a heavy novel, something slipped from between the pages and fell to the floor. It was an envelope. I bent down and picked it up. The paper was yellow, the corners soft and torn. It looked very old. My heart beat faster as I brushed the dust away. On the front, in faded handwriting, I read, "Mr. Carter." Not Robert. Not my husband. Just Mr. Carter. I froze. My hands felt cold. Why was this envelope hidden inside a book? Who wrote it? And why to Mr. Carter? I turned it over. The flap was sealed, but the glue had dried long ago. The paper felt fragile, like it might break if I touched it too roughly. I slipped the envelope quickly into my pocket. My mind raced. Should I ask Robert? Should I show it to him? No, not yet. I sat beside him on the couch, pretending to watch the news. He smiled at me, completely unaware. My fingers brushed against the envelope in my pocket. That night, when he was asleep, I took it out again. I held it under the lamp, staring at the faded ink. I whispered to myself, "Tomorrow. I will open it tomorrow." But in my heart, I already knew. Whatever truth was inside this forgotten letter, it would change everything. The next morning, I woke up early. Robert was still asleep beside me. His face looked calm, his breathing steady. He looked like a man with no worries at all. But my heart was heavy. The envelope lay hidden in my nightstand drawer. I could almost hear it calling to me. I made coffee and sat at the kitchen table. I placed the envelope in front of me. My hands touched the faded paper. I stared at the words, "Mr. Carter." Who wrote this? Why hide it inside a book? Maybe it was from an old friend. Someone who wanted to stay in touch, but Robert never answered. That would be harmless. But if it was harmless, why seal it and hide it away? Another thought hit me harder. What if it was from a woman? What if Robert had a lover in the past? What if this was a love letter he never wanted me to see? My chest tightened. For years, he promised me no secrets. For years, I believed him. Was I wrong? I picked it up again. The paper was light, but it felt heavy in my hands. Heavy with questions. Heavy with fear. I imagined the words inside. "I love you, Robert. Why did you leave me?" My eyes filled with tears. Or maybe it was about money. Maybe he owed someone. Maybe there was a debt he never told me about. Every possibility made my heart sink deeper. I wanted to open it right there, but I was afraid of what I might find. That night, when Robert came home, I watched him closely. He talked about his office, about his boss, about the weather. He looked so normal. He looked so honest. But I couldn't stop thinking, was I living with a stranger all these years? I decided. The time for guessing was over. Tomorrow night, I would open the letter. And I would finally know the truth. The next evening, Robert said he had extra work at the office. He kissed my cheek and left in a hurry. I watched him go, my heart beating fast. This was the moment. No more waiting. I sat at the table with the envelope in front of me. My fingers trembled as I broke the dry seal. The sound of tearing paper echoed in the quiet house. Inside was a single folded page. The ink was faded, but the words were clear. Our son deserves to know the truth. He deserves his father. Don't keep him in the dark. I read the lines again and again. My breath caught in my throat. Our son. My hands shook. My heart pounded in my ears. Was Robert hiding another family? A child? All these years, had I been living a lie? Tears filled my eyes. My chest ached so badly it felt hard to breathe. Don't keep him in the dark. Dark? Was I the one in the dark all this time? I dropped the paper on the table and pressed my hands to my face. Every memory of Robert flashed in my mind, his smile, his promises, his words, no secrets, Emily. Were they all lies? I whispered to myself, who is this child? Who is this woman? And why didn't he tell me? I picked the letter up again. My hands trembled. The handwriting was delicate, a woman's hand, full of emotion. It was not a simple note. It was desperate. It was painful. I felt sick. My perfect marriage was suddenly broken. The forgotten letter had given me an answer. But it was not the answer I wanted. I sat at the table with the letter shaking in my hands. My face was wet with tears. My whole body felt weak. I kept hearing the same words in my head. Our son deserves to know the truth. When Robert came home that night, I didn't smile. I didn't ask about his day. I just placed the letter in front of him. His eyes widened. He froze. His face turned pale. He looked at me, then at the letter, then back at me. Where did you find this? His voice was low, almost broken. In the bookshelf, I whispered. My hands trembled. Robert, who wrote this? Who is the child? Who is the woman? He reached out, but I pulled the letter away. Tell me the truth, I said. My voice cracked. Don't lie to me anymore. For a moment, he was silent. Then he sank into the chair opposite me. His shoulders slumped. His hands covered his face. It's not what you think, Emily, he said. Please, listen to me. My chest ached. Then explain. This letter says you have a son. All these years, did you hide another family from me? He shook his head slowly. No, not another family. Not an affair. This letter, it's from my mother. I stared at him, confused. Your mother? But we see her every week. He lifted his head. His eyes were red. That woman is my stepmother. My real mother died many years ago. She wrote this letter, not to me, but to my father. I froze. My lips parted, but no words came out. Robert's voice trembled. In this letter, she begged my father to accept me. She wrote, our son deserves to know the truth. He deserves his father. That son was me, Emily. I was the child. My breath caught. My heart slowed. The letter wasn't about betrayal. It was about pain. Robert looked down at his hands. My father never showed me this letter. I found it after he died. I kept it, but I couldn't bear to read it again. I was ashamed of my past. I was scared you would look at me differently. So I hid it in that book. I thought if I never saw it again, it would stop hurting. Tears blurred my vision. I touched the paper gently. Suddenly, the words looked different. They weren't written to my husband. They were written about a little boy who only wanted a father. Robert's voice cracked. I didn't hide it to lie to you. I hid it to protect myself. To protect us. I didn't want my broken childhood to come between us. I wiped my tears. My heart was still heavy, but my anger began to soften. The forgotten letter was not proof of betrayal. It was proof of a wound that never healed. I sat across from Robert, holding the letter gently in my hands. The paper was thin, the ink faded, but the pain inside it was still alive. My chest ached, not because of betrayal, but because of sadness. I looked at my husband, the man I thought I knew completely. His face was pale, his eyes tired. He looked like a little boy again, a boy who had once begged for love. "Robert," I whispered, "why didn't you tell me? Why carry this alone for so many years?" He lowered his eyes. "Because I was ashamed. Because I didn't want you to pity me. I wanted to be strong for you. I wanted to be enough." Tears filled my eyes. I reached for his hand. "You are enough. You have always been enough. But secrets only make the pain heavier. You should have shared this with me. I would have carried it with you." His hand shook in mine. "I'm sorry, Emily. I broke the promise I made to you. No secrets. I thought I was protecting us, but I was only hiding." I squeezed his hand tighter. "Then promise me one thing. No more hiding. No more shadows. Whatever truth, however painful, we face it together." He nodded, tears sliding down his cheeks. "I promise." We sat in silence, our hands locked, the letter lying between us. It no longer felt like a weapon. It felt like a wound, finally open to heal. That night, before we slept, I placed the letter inside a small wooden box. I looked at Robert and said softly, "This is your past. But I am your present, and we will write the future together." He pulled me close, and for the first time since I found that letter, I felt peace. The next morning, I looked at the small wooden box where the letter now rested. It no longer scared me. It no longer felt like a shadow standing between Robert and me. It was still painful, but it was also a piece of truth that we had faced together. I poured coffee and sat across from him at the table. For years I thought we had no secrets, and for years he carried this hidden wound alone. Now I understood. Sometimes the secrets we fear are not about betrayal, but about pain. Sometimes love means holding someone's past, no matter how heavy it is. I looked at my husband and whispered, "You don't have to hide anymore." He smiled, tired but lighter, and in that moment, I knew our bond was stronger than before. And now, I want to ask you, if you found a forgotten letter, a letter that revealed your husband was hiding a painful secret from his past, what would you do? Would you forgive him for hiding it, or would you walk away? Tell me in the comments. I truly want to know your heart. If you liked this story, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support means everything. Together we will keep learning English through stories that touch the heart and open the mind.